Hello and welcome to the video overview for GPU Project 2 Attack of the Saucers. So what we're looking at here is Boyd's flocking simulation running on a map of Washington DC. The machine we're using here has an Intel Core i5 processor, and the Boyd's calculations are being done on a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 460. The simulation is running at about 9 frames a second, typically 15 when we're not recording video, and a kernel speed of about 14 milliseconds. So the simulation is processing 16,000 points on the GPU. Each Boyd is made out of 4 points, so there are 4,000 Boyds moving around the screen. On the display in the corner, we can see that how many Boyds are in a particular state, so whether they're the military, UFO, infected, or normal tourists. So if I click on the map and with the left mouse button I can pan around, I can zoom by holding down the middle mouse button and moving left and right with the mouse. If I use the right mouse button, I can bring up the menu and I can change various parameters. Start by changing the color of the Boyds, so instead of showing them by state, we can show them by tour group. So what we see here is all the tourist Boyds are divided into one of 5 groups, and each of these 5 groups has a set list of attractions that they'll go through in order. And once they finish going through that list, they'll just go back to the beginning of the list and start over again. So here we're looking at tour group 0, kind of this orange-brown color moving from the World War II Memorial to the Lincoln Memorial. If I right-click and change the color mode to tour progress, we can see how many Boyds are progressing from their starting position, tour stop 0, to their final destination. So here we see tour group 0 moving from the World War II Memorial to the Lincoln Memorial. Each Boyd has a random number assigned to it, which determines how long that Boyd will stay in a particular location before it decides to move on to the next location. Note here from a change from red to green. Also, from the menu, I can change the view from the default satellite view to the street view. And this is just a simpler street representation of the city. This also serves as the building collision map for the Boyds, so any location here that is black or has an RGB value of less than 0.5, the Boyd will look ahead at the color in front of it and turn away from a dark colored pixel based on if it's on its left or right compared to its current heading. Next, I can spawn a UFO, and UFO will always start here in this corner of the screen. There can only be one UFO on the map at a time, and when the UFO spawns, the blue military Boyds here, which previously were just idling around the Pentagon parking lot, will now mobilize and start moving toward the UFO. So if I press plus or minus on the keyboard, I can increase the speed of the simulation. So as you can see here, the UFO is trying to fly over the center of mass of tourist Boyds, and as it hovers over the tourist Boyds, it converts them and infects them with the alien's will, and will follow their new masters around the map. And you can see the UFO here chasing after trying to collect tourists, but the UFO does make a conscious effort to avoid flying over the Washington Monument. And you can watch the tourist boids scattering as the UFO gets nearby. And I can see we have a couple of the military boids here. And once the military boids are under the UFO, they will attack it. And as the UFO takes damage, it will turn from a dark black color to bright yellow to orange to red, and then eventually the UFO is destroyed. It takes quite a number of military boids to take down the UFO, since the UFO also regenerates its health over time. But once the UFO is destroyed, it can be respawned from the menu, and the military boids will return to the Pentagon, and any infected boids will start wandering around the map aimlessly. However, over time, the infected tourists will eventually become normal again and continue on their tour groups as if nothing had happened. Another option, I can reset the camera and basically just move the camera back to a default position centered over the Washington Monument. And the final option here, I can switch from Washington DC to Chicago, Illinois. And this is a last minute edition, so the boids do not reset position, so there's a lot of chances of boids being stuck in places that were previously valid movement zones that are no longer valid. And I mean, this is just here to show the boids easily moving, switching data sets, and unless they spawned in a black area, they will happily move along the streets of Chicago just as easily as they did the streets of Washington, D.C. And that concludes the video overview for GPU Project 2, Attack of the Saucers.